This is going to be a quick riff on something I call identity setting. This is a tool that can get us to move through self-doubt, through imposter syndrome, and get ourselves to do hard shit and take on that daunting thing like starting a YouTube channel. I was very down on myself today because I hadn't gone through the necessary steps this week to put out content. And then I read a post by Sahil Bloom on his character invention technique, which lies perfectly in line with my idea of identity setting. And I realized that I have not set myself an identity for what a world-class YouTuber means for Carrie. So for me, as someone who takes on a commitment and adheres to it, that is naturally part of my identity. My character now has this gap between the world-class YouTuber and the other identities that I hold. So of course, I'm going to naturally fall back into the things that I already know how to do rather than engage in this much harder thing that has higher barriers to progression than all these other things. So how do I overcome this problem? I need to set myself a crystal clear YouTube identity. So I allow myself to engage with that identity without needing to constantly think about what I need to do on a given day or at a given time in a given situation. So the first part about this character invention technique is understand, where does this character need to show up? Where does this identity that we're going to form live? If we're using YouTube as an example, for me, Carrie, the world-class YouTuber, needs to be thinking about YouTube every single day. Every single day, I need to be giving time to moving my YouTube channel forward, not only maintaining the status quo, but improving. Because right now, we all know that things can be better. So what could this look like? Well, I know that on the way to work, I have 40 minutes on the bus where I usually have a seat, and my mind is quite fresh. Instead of zoning out and listening to music, I can be doing research on a topic that I've pre-identified. I can be watching YouTube videos of other YouTubers, how they do things, and learning from them. Or as even the lowest barrier, I could just be listening to podcasts of all the people that I generally get inspired with and have those trigger thoughts. That is one example. And then I can build multiple types of bubbles like this where Carrie, the world-class YouTuber, shows up. Then I'm going to have to understand this multifaceted identity. What are the traits, the mindset, the characteristics that this identity holds? One of them is going to be commitment. I've already outwardly committed to everybody that I'm going to make one video a week. Now I have to commit to myself to adhere to the steps that I need to make world-class content, because that is the goal. So this character is going to be improvement orientated, which is good because that is how I am naturally. It's going to be curious about topics that are the niche of this channel, which is using design in various spaces. Whether that is our career, whether that's the work that we do within the organizations we operate within, broader society that we engage with. I wasn't even that interested in YouTube. So I'm going to have to make time, dedicate time to watch YouTubers that provide content on how to be a better YouTuber instead of just produce content every week at the same level. And then I'm going to need a trigger, the thing that's going to help me get into character when I need to start engaging with this identity, because it's not going to come naturally at first. I have all these other things that I want to do naturally. And this thing, the YouTube thing, the hard thing, where I feel the most self-doubt, maybe the most like I'm imposter, if you compare me to other YouTubers, that is the thing that I want to be engaging with. How do I do that? Well, I can have trigger habits. Every time I step onto the bus in the morning, for that 40 minutes, I become Carrie, the world-class YouTuber. I get up on Saturday mornings at 7:30, my regular work time, because that is what a world-class YouTuber does. They need that extra time to dedicate to their craft. Carrie, the world-class YouTuber, has to make sacrifices. I can't do all the things that I want to do. I have to recognize I can't train 6 times a week, go to all the social events, really engage with my colleagues, show up at work 8 hours and be on fire there, because you know that I have to do that. Something's got to give. So Carrie, the world-class YouTuber, makes sacrifices. And that might be the hardest part for me on this journey. But like I've said before, what I commit to, I'm willing to sacrifice for. So I know I'm on that journey. One example of how identity setting has shown up in a different part of my life, a bit lower stakes, is how my best friend, Justin, and I, back in the day, when I was still in South Africa, would often go running together. But we really struggled to get ourselves to go running. We struggled a lot more than a much more difficult workout of powerlifting in the gym, 2-3 hours. Sometimes we would even dance before, then train, and then afterwards maybe do something else. and we could just get ourselves there. We loved it. There was no barrier, like no umming and ahhing of getting ourselves into the gym because we were powerlifters, and that's just what powerlifters do. We know that every day a powerlifter goes to the gym because they need to maintain that muscle mass, that strength. That was where I first realized this concept that something was tying me to one thing more than the other. I'm really curious if you end up crafting a character for something that you're doing in your life that feels like is surrounded by self-doubt or maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome. I would love to hear your experience with identity setting, or what identities in your life are really huge that maybe you haven't recognized allows you to engage with really tough stuff that other people might not be able to. I'm really excited for a lot of the content that I'm going to be putting out in the coming weeks. It's planned. I just need to execute. So stick with me.